Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a warm welcome to the Voice of the Cape Matric Revision online session. Today, our topic is Arabic, and we welcome back the facilitator of the session, none other than Muslimah Ismail Allie. And Muslima is a language tutor. She has 8 years' experience. She has a BA in Arabic and Islamic Studies. She's also an educator in Islamic studies and a public speaker with experience in media presentation. And currently, she's finding herself in Cairo, Egypt, where she's completing her studies in classical Arabic at the Markaz Fajr for non Arabic speakers. And also to note that this session is proudly sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute, an accredited online platform where you can become a primary or high school teacher by studying in the privacy of your own home. So you would need not worry about having to travel to campus. You can come comfortably, study, become an educator, be it primary school or high school in the comfort of your own home. And if you would like more information, do hop on to the website, which is www.togi.ac.za, or call 021 829 7015. That's 021 829 7015. Assalamu alaikum, Muslima. Welcome back.
Walaikum salam, Conita. It is a pleasure to be back with a very different subject today, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And yes, I think for most students, if they have taken up the subject of Arabic, for someone who maybe the first language is your first language is English, it would be a bit easier for you to comprehend, the lesson that you're taught, or going through whatever lessons you have in mind, or preparing for the examination. I would imagine that it's a lot more complicated and difficult for students studying Arabic. I cannot imagine what that must be like for them.
I know what you mean with regards to a new language, and to be honest, even though people will say you go to an Arab country, and sometimes you have this sense, some people in general, before they come to an Arab country, they're like, okay, like I did some Arabic and I understand basic words. When you come here, it's a different story, I'll be very honest, because there are different dialects that they speak, and here they have a different dialect as well, and it sounds like a completely different language. So I will point out that the Arabic you are doing is Fusha, which is classical Arabic. So don't be alarmed when people are speaking and you like, what is this g sound? And they're saying j, and like they have different sounds when they speak. So it's not Fusha, and it is a dialect. So this is why, like, just don't be alarmed.
Can we make the comparison between maybe someone who's traveling to Johannesburg or different province here in South Africa? You usually can pick up, if someone's not from Cape Town. Would you say
Yes,
it's similar?
it is similar, but I will actually. It's not even just, you don't even need to travel to Johannesburg. I will say, like, based on personal experience. So I was exposed to Afrikaans at home,
Yes.
and that's what they were speaking at home, in, like, with English as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was in Belleville at campus one day, I heard people speaking Afrikaans, and I was like, what is this?
But
It's like,
we're fighting about it, but in South Africa, it's this kind
it was just like the way that they spoke. It was so, like, it's almost like all of the words are integrated. They don't say all
interesting.
the letters. Like, it's like half a word. So you
Yeah.
actually find that at home as well. So it is important to also note that when you are doing a foreign language, it will be an occurrence, and it's not something to be scared about.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so for today, what can students expect in today's lesson?
Okay. So in today's lesson, we are going to do Arabic, and I wanted to just state some important points, and just also before we actually start and get into it, I wanted to highlight that at the beginning of learning Arabic, especially when you are at a certain age and getting to know it now, because we haven't been learning and we haven't been taught Arabic from the time we were little children, it will be more challenging for us to understand things. So, for that reason, when we are at home, we do study Arabic in English initially. And that is in order for you to get that introductory path to just get used to the language, to just be exposed to the language. But I also wanted to do, when we are busy like with the lesson, I know I didn't inform you about this beforehand,
Okay.
but I actually wanted to do like I wanted to do like an activity with
Okay.
just to show how it is when you don't focus on memorizing the vocab, but you focus
Okay.
on learning from someone else speaking. So I wanted to do like an activity where we
With
do
me.
dialogue. Yes,
With me.
we
Dialogue.
can.
Okay.
Yes, we can
I'm
do.
up for that.
We can do an activity where we just do a short dialogue where you don't learn specific words, but you learn in phrases. So then
Oh,
obviously I'll give you the phrases and then we can go through it in that way, but we can do that at the end of the session. Inshallah, we won't be
okay.
having too much of an extensive session, but that is just to show
Yeah.
students that Arabic can be fun as well.
Yeah. Okay,
But
I am definitely up for that. So for today's session, my microphone will be muted for the duration of the lesson. I will obviously be assisting you, Muslima, with regards to paging through the slides. So I'll just wait for your cue with regards to starting the session.
Okay, so we will start off, inshallah, with the first slide. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the first slide that we have here is النقاط الهامة التي يجب قراءتها. So what we have here is the important points that you have to consider, right? So this is when embarking on the study of Arabic as a language, right? So it's not just about going to class and sitting in the class and going home and tomorrow I come again like the other subjects that we usually do. We can be honest with each other, like we don't go home every day and go over all of our work, right? So when it comes to Arabic, that is not the case. So the first nukta that I wanted to mention is that muraja'a is extremely important. So the first point is muraja'a al-mufradat wa hifdha. So to revise your vocabulary and memorize them. So with revising, what I mean is you usually at the beginning you get dialogues and you also get short stories, right? Within your syllabus, right? When you get these dialogues, when you get these short stories, you do revision of the vocab by reading over what it is that you are doing, what is in your set work, and by memorizing that if you keep forgetting the word. If you keep forgetting a word, what you can do is just a little trick that I've developed like over the years is that you can, if you are able to, like don't it, I don't want parents to attack me saying their students, the children are messing up the walls and things. But if you are able to, you can stick things on the walls. So in your room. So when you are in your room, it's right there. Whether it is that you have a desk or if you sit on the floor, wherever you sit, you put up that page with all of the things that you actually forget constantly. So you put it there, you see it every day, you go over it. What I would also suggest is when you're trying to memorize words of things, ashia, what you can rather do is take pictures of it. So there's a thing I learned with regards to language. When you're learning a language, you are getting to understand something, right? Through understanding that particular thing, you allow the thing you need to focus on in, and you block out every other sound that you do not understand. So when you're starting with Arabic as a new language, it's a sound that you do not understand. So it might still be that you block it out unconsciously. What you do then is a spoon. You get a picture of a spoon. You write on, then you write the word on there, milaka. So you have the words with the pictures. So you are rewiring your brain to identify this picture with that word instead of having to think what's the translation of this word, right? Of course, we can't do that with every single thing. When it comes to concepts, what you can do is take a picture of something and then you identify something from that picture. For example, pollution. So you can circle it and make an arrow, right? So you write talawuth. So that's what you can do to rewire your brain to picture that thing with the Arabic word instead of the English or Afrikaans or any other language that is, you know. Then point number 2 is to كثرة السماع إلى اللغة العربية. So you have to listen to Arabic a lot. So what I can suggest is in Cairo we have a radio station called إذاعة القرآن الكريم. So it's like you can say Radio Quran, right? Just to the translated roughly, you can say it's called the Radio Quran. So in here, they only speak Arabic. And when you listen to, when they give these short little talks on verses in the Quran, parts of Hadith, and so on, when you listen to that, and then you can listen, you can gauge the language, you can get a hold of the language. Even if you start out with 15 minutes to half an hour per day, increase on a weekly basis so that your brain can get used to the sound of the language, right? Then the number 3, this is very important, and this is what I was speaking about at the beginning when we started the lesson, is mumarasatul hadith, right? So practicing Arabic dialogue. But when you do this, you can do it through the dialogue. So you have this person saying that person saying that. Often you will find phrases, right? So you will find phrases in there, you learn phrases, and from learning those phrases, you start adding it. You start adding it to when you speak. Because you like, there will always come a time where you're like, that sounds like a liquor word. So now I'm going to say it for everything. Like, if you maybe, well, whatever it is, or a phrase that you like, or so on, continuously use it. If you find a word, just replace it with the English word in a proper setting that you feel comfortable in, right? The number 4, which is the last one, فهم علم النحو والصرف. So yeah, this is important for you currently as a student. This is grammar and morphology. That's what they call it. You don't get morphology in English because you have words that are standard, right? You will add maybe suffixes and prefixes onto words and change it in that way. However, Arabic is more of taking roots, right? You get verbs. If you focus on verbs, right, you get fi'l thulathi, which is a 3-letter verb, but the root of the verb is 3 letters. You add on another letter and then it takes a different meaning. It takes a different meaning, it takes a different tense. So that is how it works. So we are going to cover some grammar and morphology. Within this Arabic syllabus, there's a lot for you to memorize. Hadith, you need to go over stories, you need to read, you need to, as I mentioned, muraja'at al-mufradat. You have to do that, because if you don't do that, then you might pass, but it's not necessarily going to be the best pass. Okay, so we go to the next slide. We will see that I put in a section of a past paper, right? So the reason I did this was, you are going to do muraja'a, you are going to go over the mufradat, you are going to practice your stories, your hadith, you are going to do hifz, right? Besides that, there is a way that I can assist you with regards to question words and with regards to understanding, maybe if this is how they're asking the question, then this is what they want from me specifically. However, keeping in mind that you need to know what the meaning of the word is, right? So when we start with question number 1, so this is specifically based on the qissa. They give you a story in your question paper, and you have to read through the story and answer the questions. ثم أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية في جمل مفيدة. So اقرأ, you have to read the qissa, which is the story. There, after reading the story, you have to answer أجب, you have to answer the questions below. في جمل مفيدة. This is important because no one word answers, no 2-word answers. You have to write in a complete sentence. The same rules apply when we say that you have half of the answer within the question, right? So they always say you have half of the answer within the question. So the ruling applies here. So what you do is you take part of the question into your answer. Okay, right. So in the question now, just remember Jumalin Mufidatin is full sentences, right? Complete sentences. Okay. في أي عام ولد عمر بن الخطاب. So في أي is in which, عام is سنة, right? Sana is year. So year, the reason I highlighted في أي and the reason I highlighted ولد is because you need, it shows that you can understand في أي. ولكن if you don't understand the meaning of the word that they are asking, then you won't understand the question. And this is the importance of mufradat and muraja'a once again. Then more importantly, I wanted to focus on this word that I mentioned in here. Many of the times they will ask you questions about asma, kunya, and laqab. Wulida as well, right? So it would be the name. It would be the name of someone. It would be the lineage of someone. It would be the birth of someone, and it would also be a nickname for someone, right? So a kunya is a nickname that a person receives. So they are known by this kunya, right? So the kunya of Umar ibn al-Khattab would be in the hadith, in the first hadith. I'm sure you also you have covered before in a majority of the books, they start with Niyya, the hadith on Niyya. So they say, عن أمير المؤمنين عمر بن الخطاب, right? So أمير المؤمنين is what Umar ibn al-Khattab was known by. So that is like a nickname, kunya, right? So what I say, this is just something I made up for myself, right? So kunya, if you remember it as kin, if you like Afrikaans speaking. So then if you remember it as kin, because ek ken vir jou, so you can remember it like that, and then that will be easier. Just to identify, sometimes students get confused between laqab and kunya. The lineage is different to the nickname, right? And then wama. So wama is another question word that they asked, is and what. You can also just translate it as what, right? They're asking you what about something, right? Man alladhi and limadha. Okay, so man alladhi, so this would be, if they say alladhi, you know that it will be connected to something, right? That it would be connected to something that is mentioned, or that you must understand from the context of the qissa, right? So alladhi is that, right? So in Arabic, sometimes you will get it like that, like in this manner. So it would be almost like, who is it that? So that's how you can translate it. But I would say, don't necessarily translate everything word for word, okay? Rather, just you can translate collectively as a phrase, and in certain words, you obviously have to know the meaning of it. The more important one I wanted to focus on is limada and bimada. So there's a difference in one letter, but the meaning is different. Limada is why, but bimada is through what or because of what, right? So B is usually connected to a sabab, right? So, which means it's usually connected to a reason for something. Through what or how did this happen? Or not why did this happen, for what reason did this happen, right? The reason is the sabab, right? So just remember, li is why and bi is through what or because of what, right? Ila, ila aina is to where, ila is to, aina where, kaif is how. So this collectively are question words that are very important. You will always find it in any question that you're going to get. They're going to use all of these words. But I will stress, when you get stories, when you get qisas, go over the mufradat in there. It's extremely important for you to go over that. Don't stress if there's one or two words or three, four words that you don't know. But understand the holistic meaning of the story, right? So now we can move on to the next slide, right? So this is what I wanted to go through just quickly. So now we're going to into Nahu, where we're going to go over the numbers. So adad, right? So you do get adad and ma'dud, which is the number and what is being numbered, but this is not specific, not necessarily adad and ma'dud. It's referring to amounts of something that you are mentioning. So you get three, which is mufrad, muthanna, and jam'. Mufrad is ma dalla ala wahid. So the mufrad is what indicates two wahid, right? Wahid is one, right? Muthanna ma dalla ala ithnain. So ithnain is two, right? Then جمع ما دل على ثلاثة فأكثر, right? So three or more. واحد, one. اثنين is two. ثلاثة فأكثر, which is جمع, right? So it would be three or more in جمع. So I want to try to make this easy, right? With regards to the جمع, there is jam' taksir, and jam' salim, right? Jam' salim is a jam', a plural that is sound. It follows a format, and it will be written in a specific manner. So jam' mudhakkar salim, which is the the masculine plural, a sound masculine plural. It follows the format because it is salim, right? And mudhakkar is that it is masculine. However, mu'annath is feminine. So if it is salim, it follows the formula, right? However, there is a lot of jam' taksir. So thus you have to get used to by reading, practicing, learning about new words. Right? When you look up a word, look up the jam'. So by the formula, if you say if you see in the dictionary that this is following una, uina, then you know jam' mudhakkar salim. At the end of that word, there will be ina, una, right? Jam' mu'annath salim follows the formula atun or atin, right? If it follows that formula, it's jam' salim. However, as we can see in the example here, mufrad qalamun, right? Jam'u qalamun, aqlamun. So that doesn't follow una ina, which means it is jam' taksir. It is a broken plural. Okay. Then if we look at mufrad of baytun, it is buyut, right? So is it do we say baytuna or baytina? We don't say baytuna, baytina. So we say buyut, jam' taksir. Okay. So always remember, if it doesn't follow the formula, jam' taksir. Then muthanna ما دل على اثنين. So here is ani. So muthanna in mudhakkar wa mu'annath is the same. Okay? It's easy. It's easier with muthanna. It's also confusing. Just remember, muthanna to mu'annath, feminine. It sounds very similar, right? Muthanna and mu'annath. Mu'annath is feminine, muthanna is dual. So it's two, right? So that's just the basics of mufrad, muthanna, and jam', right? So when we move on from this slide, we go to the next slide. Now this is a part of a past paper. So hadiyah. So with hadiyah, here we have actually more than one answer, right? If I'm going to be honest, right? But if in general, just to make it easy, right? In general, if it is that you have a word and you know one of the plurals, then you don't have to worry if someone else says a plural and they are sure that that's a plural and you just know one of them. It's okay. As you go along, you will learn more because you're still at the elementary level, right? So hadiyah, there is these two different types of plurals, but I think right now, like majority will say, it ends with a ta marbuta, which is a sign of femininity, right? Which means that when there's a ta marbuta, it usually indicates that the word itself is feminine, right? So when it ends like that, then we will say atin atun. So we say hadiyat. Okay? I will say that there are more plurals with this specific set with a specific set of plurals, like majority have more than one, right? But don't focus on it if you don't have if you don't know everything. Then ilmun is ulum, right? Ulum. And then alim is also a jam' taksir, which is ulama, right? Tabib, which is a doctor, that is also jam' taksir, and you would call them atibba, right? So in here, this is how you learn. They actually like to give jam taksir. So it is important when you learn a word, also find the plural of it. Now moving on to the next slide. We're focusing now on. I'll just lightly go through this verbs, which is fi'al madi, which is the past tense verb. So we know that you get af'al, which are verbs in Arabic, and you get tenses. So you get madi, mudari', and mustaqbal, right? So we're not going to deal with mustaqbal yet because there's quite a lot of intricate elements to mustaqbal that you have to learn at a higher level. But in fi'al madi, we learn the basics of it. So you know the skills when you say fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'ala. So when we go through all of this, you memorize it like it's a song, but you need to understand the function of it, right? So when it comes to af'al, you get different elements that refer to mufrad, muthanna, wa jam', right? So mufrad, it would be fa'ala and fa'alat, but that is ghaib, right? So ghaib is when you are the way that I usually tell students to remember it is, say for example, so when it's ghaib, you're always talking about someone. So if you're talking about someone, right, then it will be ghaib, right? So that person is not there. Mukhatab is when the person is there. That's when you say fa'alta, right? So the ta, ma, tum, ti, ma, tunna, that is all mukhatab. So you're speaking to the person. So I am speaking to you, so I will use that forms of the verbs, right? It's just always important to take note when is it ghaib, when it is mukhatab, and when it is mutakallim, which means I'm speaking about or I'm referring to myself or I'm referring to us as a collective, right? So I just want to briefly go over that. Then if we move on to the next slide, we go to fi'al mudari', right? So this is a bit more of a struggle for a lot of students because we have the same type, we have the same form of the verb, whether it is ghaib or mukhatab, right? Ghaib, remember when you're speaking about someone, mukhatab, speaking to the person, takalim, us and me, right? So in ghaib, we do get the same yashrabani for muthanna, which is two. When there's two people you're talking about or you're speaking to two people, it's the same, right? As you can see also when we speak to jam', when we speak to jam', mukhatab and ghaib, which is when you're speaking about the person or speaking to the person, it's also una, right? So just bear in mind that even though the form is the same, the context matters. Okay, the context always matters when you are speaking to the person. Okay, then moving on further from that, I wanted to do the last thing just to show that that I said I will do with you, Karnita.
Okay, yes.
I wanted to show that I wanted
The
to
fun
show
part.
yes the fun part of Arabic, right? So
Okay.
what I am going to do is, so because students they use I'll be a بين يديك primarily.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But now I'm thinking I'm going to try to like use the easiest dialogue that I can
Okay,
think
yeah. Go easy on me, eh?
the
Because
easiest
I'm
dialogue.
certain that my colleagues, Yasmina, and especially Muhammad Ayub Ali's, they will have a good laugh, after they watch this section.
So, with regards to this part, right, what I
Yes,
wanted to highlight is that when you do Arabic, don't
yes,
focus so much on the fact that you have to um, you have to memorize all of these things, because
yes,
when you focus on I have to memorize all of these words, how am I
yeah,
going to do this? Like then
yeah,
you stress yourself out. But if you focus on, okay, like I'm reading through a dialogue and I am learning, right? I'm
mhm,
learning, then it is like, okay, I can learn
yes.
this phrase, right? And I can just use this phrase. Okay.
Okay,
So what I'm going to do phrases with you now.
all right.
Um, so I'm going to do phrases,
Yes,
and then I'm going to say it, and then you can just like repeat after me, right? So
inshallah.
I'll give you the easy parts, and then I will do maybe like the more like
All right.
challenging, the challenging
Yes.
ones, right? So in this case, right? So you're going to be asking me
Mm-hmm.
if I am sick,
All
right?
right.
So you going to say, Amaridun anta. And so anta is for a male and
All right.
anti is for female. So I'm a female. So you're going to say, Amaridun anti.
Amaridun anti.
Amaridun anti. Yes.
Amaridun anti.
Aywa. So then I'm going to say, so then I say na'am, which is yes. أشعر بآلام شديدة في بطني. Right? So
Must I
okay,
say,
so what I
so
want,
must
no,
I
you
say all of
don't
that?
have to say it. You don't say it. So my sentence is نعم أشعر بآلام شديدة في بطني. So I actually like wanted to show the actions like because I'm touching my stomach.
Oh, okay. You say you're hungry.
No, so, so I'm feeling like a severe pain in my
Oh,
tummy, right?
okay.
Yeah, in my tummy, right? So if you say أمريض أنت, I'm saying نعم أشعر
Mhm.
بآلام شديدة في بطني, right?
All
So
right.
you basically say my tummy is sore. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
my tummy is sore. Okay, so you
Yes,
can
yes.
ask me again your question.
Amaridun anti.
أمريض أنت؟ نعم أشعر بآلام شديدة في بطني. So
Oh,
I'm saying that I am having the severe pain in my tummy. But you when I mentioned that at the beginning, you don't need to understand word for word.
mm,
Just
mm,
know
mm.
that I'm saying my tummy is sore,
Okay.
right? Then you can say هل ذهبت إلى الطبيب؟
هل
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 ذل-
ذهبت
ذهبتِ؟ هل
ذهبت
ذ Okay, it broke up there for a minute. So, هل
هل
ذ
ذهبت
هل ذهبتِ
إلى الطبيب.
إلى الطبيب؟
Yes. So you're asking me, did I go to the doctor? Right?
Okay.
الطبيب is the. So you're asking,
طبيب.
هل ذهبت إلى الطبيب? Right?
هل
So then,
ذهبتِ إلى الطبيب؟
أيوة. هل ذهبت إلى الطبيب? And I'll say, لا لا
No.
لم أذهب إلى الطبيب. I
So you're
didn't
saying
go
I have
to
to
the doctor.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
ولم
Interesting.
أتناول أي دواء. I don't have now دواء on I wanted to show
Pain
you man.
tablets. What?
Yes, yes, you're right. You are right. You're right.
Guess
Uh,
there.
ولم أتناول أي دواء.
Are you
I
telling me
didn't
that you don't have any, or you haven't taken
take
any pain
medication.
tablet? Okay, no
Yes.
medication. Okay.
Okay. So
I
I
must say,
say
what must I say, Nam? Okay, or
so.
what?
No, no, no. I just wanted to do that small piece, but we can do it from the beginning because, like, I just want to show, like, you
Yes.
can get trained into it like this. So,
Hmm.
for this reason, I always say you can't do a language as
Yeah.
self-study when you're learning a foreign language, right?
You need to be
So we're gonna,
practical. The
yes, so we,
practical
yeah. So we
aspect
go
of
again from the beginning, right? So you can ask me, "Amaridun anti?"
amaridun anti,
Right. So at the end of amaridun, it's a dad, but it is a
amaridun,
difficult a
amaridun,
dad, right?
amaridun, dun.
So it is a difficult letter, right?
Yeah,
It is a difficult letter to say. So
amaridun.
amaridun anti? نعم أشعر بآلام شديدة في بطني. Now,
Hmm.
so now you say the next question. هل ذهبت
هل ذهبتِ I
إلى
forgot I forgot.
الطبيب إلى الطبيب
إلى 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 طب
إلى
إلى
الطبيب.
إلى الطبيب إلى
Yes,
الطبيب
you
إلى الطبيب
connecting the إلى to a طا. So you
إلى
say إلى
الطبيب
الطبيب.
إلى الطبيب
أيوة.
إلى الطبيب
Yes. Yes, like that. You connecting to it. There's a shadda on the طا. So you say هل ذهبت إلى الطبيب؟
هل ذهبتِ
تي
إلى الطبيب
طبيب. أيوة.
was
Like
it
that.
was it right
Oh,
was that
sorry. أيوة is like
well
yes.
done oh
I'm a,
yes okay
but yeah, telling that's right, that's right.
okay
Then so now my answer is لا لم أذهب إلى الطبيب ولم أتناول أي دواء. I didn't go to the doctor and I didn't take any medication. And
okay
then a phrase you can use when someone is sick is you can say, if it's a female, you just
Mhm.
remember if it's a male, you say ah. If it's a female, you say e. So if a female is sick, right, and you want to say you hope they get well soon, you can say shafak Allahu.
شفاك الله
Aywa,
شفاك
that's
شفاق
for male.
شفاق
Shafak Allahu.
شفاق الله
Yes. And if it's for a female, and then you can say shafakillah.
شفاك الله شفاك
Yes, like that.
الله okay wow
Shafakillah. Like that. So that's a phrase you can just like and get well soon.
okay شفاك
Yeah.
شفاك الله
Shafakillah, shafakallah.
شفاك الله
Yeah.
okay شفاك الله شفاك الله so killa
Kallah.
is
Killa
kal
is a female.
kalla for male
Allah. So
kal
if there's
kal
a
kal
fatha, right? Before the lam, it makes it thicker. That's why
okay
we say Allah.
okay so
And when we
kal
say yes, so we say Allah because there's like a fatha
uh-huh
at the beginning, and we say lillahi. So the kasra makes the lam thin.
okay
Like that.
so
So that's why we say
kal
shafakillah, shafakallah.
شفاكilla شفاقل
Allah.
كلا
Yeah.
شفاقل
Yeah.
wow interesting
So I just wanted to do that to make the lesson a bit fun because when it comes to foreign languages, I know students often stress a lot, but it
yes
can be made fun. You just need to practice.
awesome wonderful shukran once again Muslima for a very informative, interactive, and entertaining. I was the entertainment at the end there. I don't mind that. I've learned
Hmm.
some things, and I have to obviously. I never wrote down any of the
Hmm.
sentences, but I'll make a note of it. So next time, inshallah, I can actually ask you in the Arabic language, "How are you today?" and hopefully converse
Yes,
in that
inshallah.
way. Yeah, so that they brings us to the end of the revision lesson on Arabic. And as you can see in the presentation, if you'd like to make contact with Muslima, you can reach her on an email, and that is Ismail Muslimah at gmail.com. And we look forward to having you back, but also to note that the Voice of the Cape online matric revision program is proudly sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. They are an accredited educational provider, and they are accredited and they provide training for those of you who'd like to become a teacher, be it a high school or primary school teacher. You can do so and basically conduct your studies in the comfort and the privacy of your home. If you'd like more information, check out the web address, and that is www.togi.ac.za, or call the Two Oceans Graduate Institute on 021 829 7015. Well, shukran once again, Muslima, for a very informative and an interactive session today rather. Until we chat again and have you back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.